Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
This is going to show you guys perfectly that Gary Gensler has been blatantly lying to the market about there being clarity. Gary Gensler has known this entire time that there is no clarity in this market, and the only reason he's saying there is because he wants the SEC, the agency he is the head of, to have complete power over cryptocurrencies. I believe Joe Biden's executive order essentially stripped this dream away from Gary, but just listen up to this video because it's going to blow your mind.
We need to look at all these tokens. I think that will bring clarity to the market. And I think that it's not just the ones that we call initial coin offerings, but it's really critical to go through the top tokens. And so we did a little analysis. I've done this analysis, but with the help of some others, on just the big five: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. All strikes that they're probably not. There's a non-lawyer. I get it. People.
So Gary Gensler starts off this clip by directly telling us that the cryptocurrency market needs more clarity. This is the exact opposite of everything he's been saying since he took head of the SEC. This shows that despite the fact that there's been zero policy changes in this gap of time, that his opinion has drastically changed. Back then, he was clearly stating that this market needs more clarity, and now he's continued to say that there is clarity. Well, clearly, because there's been no policy changes, his opinion should not have fundamentally taken a complete 180. And the only reason this position has changed is because now he is in a position where he is given more power by saying there is clarity. This is disgusting, and he even goes on to say later in this clip that Bitcoin is probably not a security. And the reason why he can't say this with certainty is because regulators have not yet made the decision on what a security is and what a security is not. Gary Gensler understands this. He's a smart guy, but he's choosing to ignore these facts because he wants power. This is a huge problem, but like I said earlier in this clip, essentially Gary Gensler's right to this power may have been stripped away by this executive order, and let me show you what I mean. Fred, a lawyer I follow, broke down this executive order perfectly. He tweeted out, "Truly wonderful. POTUS ordered Gary Gensler to stand down on his unilateral approach and work with many other agencies. CFTC that will refuse to bow down to the SEC, asserting sole jurisdiction. Here's your first L, Gare." So he's saying in Joe Biden's executive order, he essentially instructed all these different agencies to work together and create an approach that works between all these different agencies. This is in stark contrast to everything Gary Gensler has been saying. Gary Gensler has been saying clearly all these tokens are securities. But if that was true, then why in Joe Biden's executive order didn't he come out and say, these are all securities, SEC is in charge of everything? He wanted all these different commissions to work together because the fact of the matter is, the world has never seen a cryptocurrency before, and there's never been regulations drafted to account for them. Cryptocurrencies have a lot of different aspects that all these different agencies cover, and that's why Joe Biden wants all these different agencies to work together to create a regulatory framework that really accounts for all these different factors cryptocurrencies have. Now, Fred goes on to say that the FDIC, OCC encouraged to consider their respective jurisdictions on digital assets. So he's essentially saying that all these different regulators should stay in their lane and not try to overreach, exactly what Gary's doing. And Fred goes on to say, and he doesn't even know which agencies controls what. That's what this whole report is about. Figuring out who controls what and what different regulatory body should be looking at what part of crypto. And so he goes on to say, how is that known market clarity? SEC versus Ripple. I don't think judges would heavily consider it, but Ripple has good faith basis to file its own supplemental authority on fair notice defense using this executive order. So what Fred is saying here is that Ripple could actually bring this executive order to the court and say, how could there have been clarity in the market if Joe Biden in this executive order is currently saying we need to put together these different working groups and these agencies need to work together to figure out who has power over crypto? How could Ripple have known XRP was a security if the agency who was telling them it wasn't a security, but the agency who's suing them might not even have power over crypto? It hasn't been decided yet. So clearly Ripple never had the fair notice if the agency who's suing them might not even have power over any of this. And this is a huge thing going forward. Now, the next thing I definitely think we need to be paying attention to is the words in this executive order. Bearable Bull pointed out, this executive order made me extremely excited. Sound familiar? Many Americans are underbanked and the cost of cross-border money transfers and payments are high. What cryptocurrency do we know that is solving this? Most importantly, this executive order went extremely far in saying that cryptocurrencies are going to be critical to upgrading the infrastructure in our current financial system. And then they go on to say that cross-border payments are high and cryptocurrencies could be used to solve this. This is a direct call out to everything Ripple and XRP solve. So regardless of if they are directly talking about Ripple and XRP here, it doesn't matter because they are the leaders in this space, and the more attention that's brought to this and the need for it, the more it's going to look like it is insane for the SEC to be attacking the American company that is driving this innovation in the United States. Craig DeWitt, a former Ripple member, actually weighed in on this, and he said a United States CBDC may have the potential to support efficient and low-cost transactions, particularly for cross-border fund transfers and payments. XRP is ahead of the curve again, and this is exactly it. XRP is going to transform the financial system, but it hasn't happened yet. It is positioned perfectly though. Everything XRP and Ripple have done have positioned XRP to be the best asset to build a new financial system on top of, especially the US financial system, because Ripple is an American company. I believe this regulation and this executive order is going to drive huge changes in the future, and based on everything said here, it looks like Ripple will be the center of it, and that is great news for us. Let's keep moving though, and this is just another tweet along these lines. The United States has a strong interest in promoting responsible innovation that expands equitable access to financial services, including making investments in domestic cross-border funds, transfers, and payments cheaper, faster, and safer. What company do we all know of using cryptocurrency to make payments cheaper? Cross-border payments cheaper, faster, and safer? Obviously, I don't need to answer that. Ripple is at the center of the transformations that are going to be coming to our financial system. It's only a matter of time. John Dean continues to expand on another fact of this executive order that I believe might be one of the most critical things, and that is the fact that the U.S. in this executive order directly said that the U.S. is going to use different agencies across the world to help build their own framework. Exactly, it directs agencies to work with their allies and partners to ensure international frameworks. Well, let's look around the world. The UK's FSA declared XRP a non-security. Japan's FSA declared XRP as a non-security. Switzerland's UAE, Singapore, and other countries all around the world have all said XRP is not a security. So how would it make any sense if the US is trying to build a more cohesive regulatory framework across borders to go completely against what all these other countries are saying? It shows that the US is clearly out of line here, and it goes back to the fact that they are out of line for a reason, and that's because the regulators want power. It's not about justice, it's about this guy wanting power, and I have a feeling this right here might have just put the finishing nail in Gary Gensler's BS case. I know it wasn't Gary's case, it was Jay Clayton's, but he's strung this along way longer than he should have. Let's keep moving, and I believe this is one of the biggest things in this entire thing. I'm just saying I'm going to leave this here by Digital Perspectives. FSOC, you say what? I'm pretty sure we've heard this somewhere before, and that's in this executive order, it says, protect the U.S. in global financial stability and migrate systematic risk by encouraging FSOC to identify and migrate economy-wide financial risk posed by digital assets and develop appropriate policy recommendations to address any regulatory gaps. So what this is saying is this executive order is encouraging FSOC to be the primary regulator based on what the executive order has alluded to so far. What do we know about FSOC? Well, FSOC has actually already declared XRP a virtual currency, not a security, and guess who signed off on that? Jay Clayton. These are the things that you look back and you say, how could this not be set up? FSOC is becoming the primary regulator for cryptocurrencies, and Jay Clayton, the one who filed the lawsuit against Ripple, was one of the people who signed off back in 2015 saying that XRP was a currency. I don't know how you could make this up. Actually, it might have been 2019, but either way, I don't know how you could make this up. This is insane. Last of all, I just wanted to read you this quote because I believe this is the perfect note to end on. This is from JP Morgan. Ripple's XRP has been largely successful at accomplishing its goals of reducing fees and transaction times associated with money transfers. If the company is able to win the SEC lawsuit and trading resumes on major crypto exchanges.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.